So it's like, listen, we have plenty of stuff to argue about in a relationship. Let's not argue about the fact that we both like pussy.
Yes. Let's take that off.
Let's take that off the table.
Yes. Welcome back to Made It Out. Today we are tackling a subject that so many of you have asked for. It's falling for straight girls. And I have Ali Kolbert, stand-up comedian, podcast host, who is also qualified in this subject.
Yes, if you are a straight girl that has dated me between 1999 and 2018, you are entitled to compensation. Yeah.
Maybe turn off this podcast.
Yes, I have fallen for them. I've fallen for them and I've scraped myself in the process.
Yeah. Well, let's start with kind of your queer journey. What was the first time you realized you had feelings for a girl?
Oh my God. I always had feelings for girls. It was like the same way that, you're not going to believe this, but it was the same way that straight people have feelings. It was just inherent to my identity. Like, I don't even remember being like, oh my God, that's who I had crushes on, you know? But like when I was an adult, like I had my best friend that I was really close to in like early high school, and I was in love with her. And we'll tag her in the clip. But I was in love with her, and like she had a boyfriend, and that was like so brutal. And it was like your really cliche lesbian love story. Just like I'm in love with the best friend, and like this is a secret, and like we still had this like really intense like emotional intimacy like that like a lot of straight friendships have, straight girls or not even straight girls, sorry, just like women have these really intensely connected friendships that I think like was really confusing for me as like a closeted queer person. Because even now, like as a lesbian, I mean, some of my best friends are straight girls, but like the emotional intimacy in female friendship is like really, really intense. And I think was easy for me to confuse.
So what was that relationship like with the best friend? Did you ever tell her your feelings? Were you acting on them?
That relationship, looking back, the way that relationship was set up was this dynamic where there's one friend that is kind of worshipped by the other friend. And I don't think that's like a specifically queer dynamic, but I think there's like a lot of female friendships where it feels to be this one role where one friend is winning and the other friend kind of loses, and like that's how the dynamic plays out. Like that this girl is like the it girl or the hot girl, and then the other one is like, I'm your sidekick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of that relationship just like really wore me down. Like I just was so disappointed in small ways and then big by the ways that she would like lead me on and then like cut me down. It was really brutal. And it wasn't until I started exploring my sexuality, and in order to do that, I kind of had to distance myself from her because we were so close. And I know this sounds kind of vague, but I don't really know how to tell this story succinctly. That like when I had a girlfriend, I remember being like, hey, I started dating this girl. And it was kind of a blow to her. She was like really shocked by that. I think she also felt kind of like betrayed by that like, even though she didn't really want me like that there was another woman that I was like
Giving attention to
and like intimate with in a way that like did kind of displace her as a best friend, you know, like, that's another thing that happens with lesbian couples. It's like your friends, even though you're not romantic with them, like when you get a girlfriend, like it does kind of do something to another woman.
Totally.
Like it moves them in a way that like that could be uncomfortable, especially if they're like not partnered. It's easy when you both don't have a relationship to kind of just fill in that void with each other. And like, even though I had feelings for her, that was just how we were operating. So the idea that I would then like be committed to someone else in like a named way, it did change our relationship. We didn't ever come back from that. I mean, but I was so hurt by her that I've not looked to heal that. I haven't like looked to heal that relationship.
Sure.
And then
did she know you were queer?
Well, so I started dating this woman, and I think I would imagine if she had a bit of a brain, she would have pieced together that like I was in love with her. I know she certainly, even if she hasn't said that, like had feelings for me just in the way that we would like exchange with each other. It was just too intense and too whatever. It's just the way that whatever. We just mismanaged each other in that relationship because we were like kids. And
you're young.
And like I was really confused about who I was. And like I think being in love or thinking you're in love at like 17 or 16 is particularly excruciating because the feelings you're having are so big. They're just as real as feelings that adults have. But you're at the same time a dependent. You live in your parents' house. If I'm in love now, I can buy a plane ticket and go visit my girlfriend. If you're in love at 16, it's like, I'm in love. I got to do my homework. It's a mess. You know what I mean? I'm in love, but I can't drive. Like, that's terrible. You're a prisoner, but you're in love. It's psycho. You shouldn't be in love at like when you like are just starting to get your period. That's confusing.
That is, yeah.
You know, like you want this like full-bodied autonomy, but you're kind of your parents' little pet.
Yeah.
So it's a disaster.
So were you dating guys at this time?
I was, at this point in time, I was like, why can't I get off on these dudes? I was like, you know, because all
lesbians ask at some point.
You know what I mean? I was like, everyone in my school seems to like guys, but I'm looking at the guys and I'm like, you like these guys? I mean, they're like big toddlers. They're wearing the most disgusting clothes. They smell, they're drinking Gatorade. And then the women are so cute. They're putting on their makeup. They're in these cute little skirts. And then they go, well, I like him. He is like a half-formed dinosaur.
Yeah.
I can't even believe that they like him. So I'm trying to make up a crush. I'm like, I guess I like Chris. But to me, it's like having a crush on a Saint Bernard. I don't understand. I can't fake it, but I'm trying to fake it. I'm like, Chris looked at me. He drooled on me. Like, I don't understand what's going on. So then finally, I'm like, maybe if I find like an older guy who like has like a bit of money and a shower, then I could like him. So I graduate high school and I start dating this guy when I was in college who was like really smart and so sweet and like he was clean and I remember like I would leave parties with him and then this girl that I really loved would leave with her boyfriend and I remember like I just want to leave with her.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back with this Schmendrick. Like, and he's so sweet, God bless. But I didn't want that. I wanted to be with a woman. I wanted to like take a bath with a woman. I wanted to hold a girl's hand. The girl's hands are so cute and small.
And sweaty.
And I wanted to, it's very sweaty. And I wanted to have the intimacy that I just, women. I don't know if straight people feel this way. Because then I would say to my straight girlfriends, I'd be like, do you guys like sex with guys? And they're like, no.
Okay,
and I'm like, well, what the fuck?
Nobody likes it. This
They're
is
like,
normal.
it's not good. And I'm like, okay, then I'm straight because I hate it too.
Yes, it's very confusing. But also something that I experience is dating older men.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't enjoy having sex with you.
Yeah.
So I want you to be smart. I want you to have some sort of value. Like I wanted to get something out of the relationship because I didn't feel the sexual intimacy.
100%.
Okay,
like,
wow.
Maybe if he's like more cultured or more mature or yes, can teach me something or like inspire me in some way with the career he's created for himself or his aesthetic, then there's something I could go off of.
Yes.
But to just date a guy for the sake of dating a guy, I struggled with ultimately as a lesbian, but yes. It was confusing to me, you know, but like, could I date a girl that didn't have anything going on? Yeah, I could.
Right.
Because she's pretty.
But never a man.
But no, never a man, because why would I do that to myself?
Yes, your whole like priorities change.
Yeah, you really have to be a value add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did you do that back and forth before you were like, okay, I'm a lesbian?
Okay, so I was in college and I was dating that boy and we broke up and there was this girl that was in my like class at NYU and she was like so beautiful and she would come into the class and I was just like, I just want to make love to you. You know, she was just gorgeous and like she was so hot. I just imagined whenever she spoke, it came out French. I don't know why. She was like so stunning. I could just see her being like, and
so chic.
She had a boyfriend, but she would give me this like burning eye contact. And I was like, all right, run me over with the truck. It just was like immediate fire. Like I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to combust. And it reminded me of that high school dynamic of like this girl that I knew had a boyfriend, but was for whatever reason giving me this attention that felt so fucking intense. And I remember she would like text me all the time being like, I feel like I'm falling in love with a boy. Like just all these things that just like fucking killed me.
Yeah.
And I remember she came over to my dorm one night and we hooked up.
Oh my God.
And then the next day she was like, okay, like, I have to go to my boyfriend. And like, but this was so fun, but I don't think we can do this again. And I was like, this is the story of my life with women, that I feel really led on by them. And ultimately there's something there, but then it's like it's like gamified for them.
Yeah.
But like my heart is just being like,
yeah. Why were you attracting this?
I don't know. I was like open to being connected to women in that way. And the women that I was like having these experiences with, at that point, I'd never been with a woman.
Right.
So, and she had not either.
Yeah.
You know, so like we were both kind of playing around with it, but it just felt more real to me. I feel like because of that high school dynamic with this girl, I feel like I've recreated a lot of that in more toxic phases of my life with straight girls.
Yeah.
Where like I look for a woman that is unavailable or curious, and we have some sort of dynamic that feels really charged. And there's like a really big kind of like ego affirmation when I'm with this woman, because I feel like finally she chose me. And I think people do this with trauma, and I'm saying trauma, I know we're in LA, but like I'm just using trauma to describe something that was like painful and out of my control.
Yeah.
Or like if I date this girl and she does choose me, it might kind of correct some of the things that have happened to me and hurt me.
Yeah.
And of course that doesn't happen.
No.
But I just keep hurting myself. Like,
But where are you meeting these women?
I'll just go to a party and there'll be one woman that seems upset with her husband, and I'll say, let's talk. I don't know what happens.
I mean, it sounds like you know exactly what happens.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think I've talked about this also. Like, it's one of these things where I've talked about it enough on podcasts now. It's like, it was always happening. And now the more I talk about it, the more it wants to happen. You know what I mean? I like put it out on, it's always happening. Then I'm saying it on my podcast. Then girls are messaging me. Oh, I heard that thing on a podcast. Now I'm back on your podcast. It's like I'm promoting this tour of me fucking straight women. You know
Yeah, enough's enough.
You know, enough to know it truly is damaging, and I'm done with it. Yeah, I'm done with it. I am retired, because it does fuck you up. It fucks up your relationship with love. It fucks up my ability to receive love, because oftentimes when you go for the straight girl, or you're in love with your best friend, or you want to pursue something with someone who doesn't share your sexuality but is just curious, it's not a safe environment. You might be showing them something, and that ends up being pretty performative. And they are not always ready, if ever, to reciprocate that, because they're not gay. They're not, you know, so... But like, I didn't invent this. This is like a common thing, I think, at least, that lesbians sometimes are wanting to turn a woman. Or have you had this experience?
No. No. That's why I'm so curious. I'm like, what is that? Why do lesbians want to turn a woman? Is it a game?
Had you had a girlfriend before your current girlfriend?
Yes, I had one. And she also was like this. Like it wasn't necessarily turn straight women, but it was like, I want to be the first.
Yeah.
And that seems like power, control.
It is power. I think it's a power thing. I think it really does come from a wounded place. I'm saying that because that's how I feel about when I want to act out on that behavior. I don't know. It's just like, for every cute girl that wants to experiment and wants to put on a summer dress, there is a girl that wants to take it off. You know? Look, it's like these women, like a lot of women that are curious about their sexuality and like get off on being the object of desire. There's a lot of women that get off on being the one doing the desiring, and like creating that is a powerful experience of like, oh my God, I could tell myself that you like me so much, or you find this to be so engaging that you're willing to question the whole fucking paradigm. You know, like, of course that's an ego thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't result in fulfilling relationships. It's the same way we want to grab junk food and say, that's so delicious. Well, I'm not going to eat that every single day. I'll be sick.
Right.
You know, it's just like attraction. I was talking about this with Josh Johnson on my show. Just like attraction doesn't equal healthy relationship. Attraction is totally separate. A lot of my attractions come from like trauma. Like,
sure.
Not like that they're bad, but it's just like I can see that like, oh, look, I'm drawn to that because that person has hurt me historically. And like that charge I feel around them, that doesn't mean like they're for me. That means like they're like activating a psycho dance in me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's how I feel about a lot of these like women that I've like gone after that have like, it's been like fun for like a moment, but then there's like huge pain, oceans of pain.
Yeah, it's ultimately not fulfilling.
Yes.
But do you think part of it is like a non-committal side in you that sees a natural endpoint? So you're like, I'm going to go after this because I know it's going to end.
Yeah. Yes. I wouldn't say I think it's going to end. I think it's that I know subconsciously that like I'm not going to receive the love I deserve if I date these women. I'm not. They're not ready to be in a relationship. They're not sure of they're not clear on anything. They're definitely not clear on me. And it is a way of avoiding intimacy to pursue relationships like that. In the same way that like you wouldn't encourage a woman to go out with a guy who's like not sure if he wants a relationship, like whatever, like there's his own work to be done, you know? So I think you're dead on. I do think so.
I wonder, like, we're calling these straight girls.
They're not straight girls, obviously.
I always have a problem with like, because I grew up in Texas and I exclusively watched lesbian porn, and all these straight girls would be like, yeah, that's normal. Straight girls watch lesbian porn. Like, and I find that so damaging because it's like, then me as a lesbian, I was like, oh, I'm not a lesbian. I'm straight. I just like lesbian porn.
Right.
So I find it like, I feel like these women are at the very least bi-curious.
Definitely.
Not to speculate on anybody's sexuality, definitely. But I think it's damaging to be like, these are straight women.
You're so right. And thank you for saying I'm damaging on the show. When I'm calling them straight women, I'm really just naming a group of women that don't vocalize or identify as queer in like a pronounced way. So I'm calling them straight because they don't identify as queer.
No, yeah, fair.
You know, if we put them, but look, your fingers are they are bi-curious.
Yes.
For sure. Why do you want me to kiss you, straight girl? But you know what I mean?
I'm only clarifying because like,
no, clarify.
That's
You're
something
dead on.
That I'm like, I've always had a hard time with that. And I stand on my hill with that because it's like, that was so damaging to me.
No, you're so right. They're queer. You're right. These straight women are queer. I'm not dating straights. I'm dating first-time gays. You're fucking right. You're so right. You're right. Why? Because why are straight women fucking me? It was really just every time I've ever dated someone that oriented as straight for the most part, or really enjoyed the privilege of their straight life, or wanting whatever, just all of the things that you get so easily when you live a hetero life, where you get to have kids in a really easy way, or what you get all of these, like the perks of just like that lifestyle. Sure. I just think you're always disappointed then, of course, when you start dating these women because they don't want to end up with you. So, and I'm too emotional to just like never have feelings. Because even if I'm seeing someone and it's not a relationship, I always have feelings.
Right.
I always care. I don't know how to not care at all.
Yeah.
And when people say that, I don't really buy it.
Yeah, me neither.
I am like emotional and sensitive, not in the sense that I'm fragile, but just like when I'm dating someone, I care about them.
Yeah.
And when people are not clear on their sexuality or what they want, they are emotionally unavailable because they're going through their own relationship with themselves and what they can show up for. And like people can only love you as much as they can like love and meet themselves. And these women, these mean, nasty straight women who, listen, by the way, like I've had some of like the best experiences with also. Because I know I'm just talking about the pain right now, but like I fucking love straight women.
Sure.
They're so cute. They're so fun. They dress fucking cute. They wear cute makeup and they have a good time. And they're not so worried about using the right language and the right terminology. And they are fucking fun. And that's why I pursued them for a lot of the time too. Because they're easy breezy, make me a martini and let's just make out. And that's fun too.
Interesting. Hold on. Let's sit on this for a minute because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Like, what is then what's a lesbian like then?
Okay, well, don't get me canceled, honey.
I won't. I'm just curious.
No,
I mean, it is interesting.
You're so right. You're so right. because what is that? I don't know. Like, I've had so many different experiences with so many different, like, it's hard for me to say. And like, I obviously, like, I'm painting in broad brushstrokes here, a little bit for fun and a little bit because I believe it. But what is dating a lesbian? I don't know. Like, sometimes, and we were talking about this before, like, sometimes I don't feel queer enough for certain queer spaces. Sometimes I feel too queer for straight spaces. If I go to, my girlfriend and I were laughing about this last night because we were saying, well, sometimes we go to queer spaces and we feel comfortable, but queer women can be kind of rude to us. And then we were laughing saying sometimes we go to straight places and we feel like we're too queer and straight people are rude to us. And it's like, look, is it a lesbian bar? Yeah, but it's also a human bar. Right. And there are humans that are mean and there are humans that are nice.
Right. Right.
You know, but I do feel that, like, you know, for example, if I tell certain lesbians, well, I went back and I've dated men, well, they'll go, oh, then are you really a lesbian? I see. What do you mean that you dated a guy in between this, but you don't identify as bisexual, but you're a lesbian? Well, then why'd you date that guy for a few months after that, after you knew you were gay? And it's
almost like qualifying you to see if you fit in to their narrative of what a lesbian should be.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like there's both of those things. Like, it's just people. You're not going to believe this, but people are people, and love is love.
Profound.
But I do feel that way to a certain extent.
I mean, that's fair.
You know,
and I also do think what you're saying. My first lesbian party I went to, was at an apartment.
Yeah,
it was in LA.
Yeah,
I'm like baby gay Googling, like, where do lesbians go, right? And this girl does the Instagram thing where she likes a bunch of my pictures, follows me, and she's like, hey, come to my party. So me and my friend, we look so straight. Like, this is just the straightest two people you could ever imagine in your life. And we walk into this apartment and it's dark and grungy and there's neon lights everywhere and there's a tattoo artist and there's like all these people in leather and black, like, looking at us. And I'm like, I do not think I fit in here.
Yeah.
Like, I get that feeling.
Yes.
I think, like, it can be a little intimidating or like, ooh, like, I don't know. As I feel the same way as a, like, kind of a high femme.
Yeah.
Like, people don't really believe I'm gay. I literally tattooed the rainbow on my hand because people don't think I look gay.
Right.
Or, you know, so I get that.
Yeah.
But I think it's like finding maybe the right crew and the right group of people that are just going to, like, bring their arms around you and be like, we love you. You're welcome here. We don't give a fuck if you fuck a guy every once in a while, you know?
Totally. But yeah, it's finding your people wherever.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's always what it's about.
Yeah.
But I think, I do think there's, like, it's, like, particularly overwhelming when, like, you go through this whole thing with yourself about, am I queer? Okay, well, what does queer mean to me? And then you have to go into a space and they're like, well, put the slideshow on about why you're... And you're like, as you could see, I was queer in 1999. Then in 2003, I continued to pursue my queerness. And it's like, now you're getting evaluated on it. It's like, you know?
Sure.
So it can be confusing to present something that you've wrestled with, that you've examined, that's changing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
So your girlfriend now is a lesbian. Is hot. Okay, hot first. And she's a lesbian. She's
a lesbian.
Okay. And she's been, like, out and dated women. So
yes,
now we're, like, swimming in different waters.
Yeah.
What's the experience? How does that feel different?
Well, it's just, I said to her last week, I said, it's such a relief that you like girls. I think there is something that I've taken for granted in the past about, like, how nice it is to share a sexuality with someone. Not because we're cracking open beers and saying, check out that chick's ass. Oh, but because there's, like, a safety there in the sort of life we want to create. And, like, and just, like, I don't know, just, like, trusting in that. I don't know.
And understanding.
And understanding of, like, dating someone that, like, embraces their queerness. And, like, how empowering that is, how liberating that is, how, like, that makes me want to lean more into myself, feel comfortable being more me, as opposed to dating someone who might be unclear or, like, experimenting. So it's like, listen, we have plenty of stuff to argue about in a relationship. Let's not argue about the fact that we both like pussy.
Yes. Let's take that off.
Let's take that off the table.
Yes. I agree with that.
That seems like there's plenty of stuff for us to discuss. Let's just say we both like pussy.
Yeah. I love that.
You know?
That's a good like boundary. That's a good, when you're making your list on like, what should I have in a woman?
Yeah. My partner should like my parts.
Yes.
And I ideally will like my partner's parts.
Yes.
I mean, this is obvious stuff, but for some reason I took my time getting there.
Yeah. The coming out process is not linear.
Yeah.
It's not, there's not like a right way to do it. It's very messy kind of in the middle. And there's a lot of identity stuff to figure out along with it. Like,
it's so messy. And like, I always think about this when straight people ask, when did you come out? And it's like, to who?
yeah.
What are you talking about? I come out every single day. I'm always coming out. How I'm coming out, and you work at new places. You make new friends. This coming out journey, and I get what they mean, by the way. They mean like, okay, like, well, I don't actually know. What do you guys mean?
Yeah.
To yourself, to your parents, okay, to your friends. Some people you don't come out to. My grandma, Baruch Hashem, died. She thinks I'm straight. So... that was kind of meant to be a joke. So I told her I was a lesbian, and then she was dying and she goes, I think you're bi. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Just fucking, okay. Like, you're always doing this.
Yeah.
And like, I sometimes I think about it. I'm like, okay, if I just meet someone, do I want to like, just get it, you know, do you ever think like, let me just get this off the bat right out of the way. Let me just be like, my girlfriend and I.
Oh, I've made it my entire personality so that nobody even has to guess.
You lead with it because, and you're not really doing it for their sake. You're doing it for your own. You're like, I don't want to deal with whatever. We should set you up with, just shut up. You know, you just have to get it out of the way sometimes. But it's amazing also. You could be like, my girlfriend, da-da-da, and then they still doesn't click for them. You almost have to show them a photo of you guys kissing. And then they're like, why are you kissing your friend like that?
Oh.
Like, you can just knock them in the head with it and they still don't believe it.
Yeah. Like, anytime you tell a guy, it's like, no, you're not gay.
Yeah. I hate when men say that. Wait until you probably haven't had the right dick. You probably haven't had the right schlong.
Trust me, sir, I've had enough dick.
Trust me. There's nothing you're going to do to impress me right now. There's nothing. If you shut the fuck up, maybe I would be impressed.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. What advice do you have for someone who is figuring out their sexuality?
I think the biggest thing for me, or I think that would at least be the most helpful, is the idea that like you don't have to land on something. Like, I think there's a lot of pressure on people to be like, oh, I identify as this, or if I'm doing this, okay, I guess that makes me this. And like, also people then are like, well, what does it mean to be bisexual, right? Well, does that mean there's an even 50-50 split? Like, the way we keep breaking things down makes it even more like, let the exploring of your sexuality be an open-ended journey where you don't have to arrive at a certain point. That actually might make you figuring yourself out fun.
Yeah.
And enjoyable. And you can be curious about it. And it doesn't even have to be specific to sexuality. It can be like what turns you on. Like, those types of things get to be really exciting when you take away the pressure to answer it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you get to be like, oh my God, that's so cool that I, a lesbian, am getting wet from Harry Styles. How fun is that? That
It's
like I'm
curiosity.
such a human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's exciting. And like how I've always felt about my sexuality is that like the more ashamed and scared I've been, the less receptive other people have been, because I am the one that's sourcing this like fear around it. But if I am like, oh my God, I love this and I love that, and like I think that's so hot, then everyone is it's much quicker and it's easier to celebrate and accept me. Because like the energy I have around my sexuality, that is going to inform how other people feel about my sexuality.
Yeah.
So I think just like embracing and like leading with like, however like hokey this sounds, but just like sharing it with like ease and like love, like that really will change how people are able to like engage with you around it, because like you generate the fear that people then pick up on.
Right.
You know? And yeah, like feeling like you're free to be open-ended with your journey. Like your journey with your sexuality doesn't have to end. It doesn't have to be tidy.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way that coming out is messy. Like it can keep changing.
Evolving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like, it is so cliche, but life in general isn't about the end point. It's about like the journey. And I think sexuality, it's the same way.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. All right. So we're testing out a new segment. It's called What Are You Working On in Therapy? And I have come to the conclusion with my therapist that I'm a very vigilant person.
Yeah.
I'm like always kind of reading situations and people, and I'm like a very intense listener, and I can't really shut that off. So it's exhausting for me. And I kind of have a social life and a partner that is like really extroverted. And I've realized I am more introverted and need that time because I need to shut that off. I need to just be in my own thoughts and live in my own brain for a minute. And I'm working on getting to the point where I realize that I need that before I become a psycho and blow up.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I'm really happy you're doing that work.
Yeah.
Thank God. So that's good. That's amazing work to be done. I love that.
Well,
How do you work on that? How do you work on that?
I love being alone. I don't feel obligated to go do anything, to see people. I'm like, I'm great.
Yeah.
But then when you're in a relationship and a lesbian relationship, your social life is so combined and like it becomes different. And so I've realized I've gotten away from that like communication with myself.
Right.
And so just like tuning in more to that.
Yes. Picking up ahead of time.
Yes.
Before you explode.
Correct.
Or are in the breakdown. That's great. I mean, that's like pretty clutch.
For Matilda's sake, yes.
Yes, that's good.
What are you working on?
What am I working on? So I feel like I have more of an anxious, I go between anxious and avoidant attachment, which is really great. So and my girlfriend has a secure attachment style. So this is how it works. If she doesn't text me back, I think she hates me. But if I don't text her back, she's happy. So, so what I'm doing is I have to do my work around the stories I tell myself when like she's just totally fine and trusting the relationship.
Yeah.
Like I kind of have object impermanence with love in the sense that like, I know this cup is here.
Yeah.
Right. Or like, I know that she loves me, but if she walks out of the room and I don't feel the love for a minute, I'm assuming that love is gone.
Yep.
And I don't believe it. Like I have to be reminded, and I need to work on the fact that like I get to trust that. Like she could go 2 days without talking to me and she's like, you still love me. And I'm over here like, yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's a horrible feeling.
So, and that's just like all my nervous system and like trusting it and like having been scarred or whatever, wounded or like having been hurt. And so like being with someone who's secure, it's just harder for me to lean into that. So like doing stuff that makes me feel safe.
And what does that
totally
look
separate
like?
from her. Oh my God. Just like focusing on like all of like, I don't want to be in a relationship where like immediately like my life becomes centered around that person. Like I want my relationship, and like, not that that's awful also, by the way, I think it's beautiful to like have a partnership that like your life kind of flourishes around, but like making my life feel full, even though I now have like someone that like I'm in love with, you know what I mean? Because it's just so easy for me. Like I get excited, I love, and like I don't want to change that about me, but like to just like shift and be like just giving so much of my energy there. Not that I don't want to. I want to do that, but I want to do it in a healthy way where I still am like fulfilling all of these other kind of like buckets in my life, so that like when we have space, we're long distance, like I don't feel totally ungrounded or like upended.
Yeah.
And
it's like making it an added benefit versus your entire
world. Yeah. And I just like anything that work like focuses on like attachment style has just been like really interesting. And like all of these practices to like self-soothe. God, this is getting so LA. But just, journaling and cold plunging and and lymphatic drain massages,
But it's nice. Lean into it.
No, it is nice. Yeah. It is nice. I do love that about LA, and everyone makes fun of LA, but like this wellness culture is about taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry, New York. Come for me, New York.
All right. We play a game. It's called You Haul or You Ghost.
Okay.
So it's like everything's great except for this one thing. Mm-hmm. She isn't on social media at all.
U-Haul. I love that.
Okay, I said this too.
Love that.
Matilda was like, no, that's weird. I'm like, what? Privacy is weird?
I've never felt good about looking at someone's social media. I'm never like, oh, wow, I love looking at their social media. It makes me feel happy and secure. So to take social media away from it, we just wouldn't fight about it.
Yeah, it kind of just takes the problem away.
Yeah, it just takes the problem away. I mean, I'll just do whatever I want. I don't have to worry about you posting. I don't have to worry about who's that you're following? Who's that? Mm-hmm. What's that? Who are you tagging? I see no problems with that. That will expedite the process of forever.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
All right. What about she reads her own tarot card every morning?
See, I've dated a woman that does that, and we didn't work out. But
was it because of the tarot cards?
no, I mean, I wouldn't ghost. I would U-Haul it. It doesn't put me off so much. I think if people are interested in, I don't know, is she looking for peace? Like looking for
It's
self.
introspective.
Yeah,
It's
let them pull a tarot. Let them pull a tarot card. It's not a problem for me.
I agree. I kind of am that way.
Yeah.
So if I found somebody that was like that, I'd be like, oh my God, this is so fun.
So you pull a tarot card every morning?
No, but I just I like to do the tarot stuff.
And
I like
what
to
are you
meditate.
looking for when you pull that card?
Just like
A false sense of control. Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
She swears incessantly.
Like how much?
Incessantly.
Like right fucking now?
Yeah, like right fucking now. It's a lot.
Like too fucking much to introduce her to my cunt mom? I mean, yeah, that would be a little much. So I would say clean it up. I curse a little bit sometimes, but that's because my mom cursed so much growing up. She cursed so much I thought my name was fuck. You know what I mean? But like, I think not so much, but I am a little bit weirded out by people who are like, oh, don't ever cuss. Yeah, all you ghost.
You ghost.
Oh, you ghost. It doesn't feel classy to me.
Yeah.
No.
And if they don't curse at all,
If they don't curse at all,
also you ghost.
yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them not cursing. I don't like using these other alternative curse words to pretend. It's something like vegan curse words. Like stop saying frick frack and pretending that's fuck. I don't believe that. That's not real meat. Just remove it from the vocab.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. On the same page.
Yes.
What about if she is chronically late?
Oh, God. This is the story of my life. I've never met a woman who's on time.
Oh, really?
No, I cannot date a girl that knows how to get ready in time. I'm having to pad times left and right for these women. You have to say, I need you to get ready. I need you to get ready faster. I need you to get ready faster. This is what my girlfriend does now. If I ask her to get ready faster, she starts fumbling, clumsy, drops everything. She starts,
now we're panicking.
She starts getting really nervous. She starts sweating. She needs a window open. This is ridiculous.
This is also
Just
me.
run on time. Grow up. You're 32. You're going to have to freeze your eggs soon. Be on time.
No, I don't like that take. I disagree with that take, actually. It's on you because you know she needs that time. So build time into your fucking day for her to get ready.
She is an adult. If you want to be in an adult relationship, if you want to get married, if you want to have a family.
If you want to get married, what does this have to do with that?
Because you're going to run late to the wedding.
Maybe it's my damn day.
No, but you get to a certain place and you realize you're not a child anymore. Your mother's not coming here to dry you off and to wipe your nose. It's your responsibility as an adult. Even if you don't care about time, if you're partnered with someone and they're expected somewhere and you've agreed to go, like now it's not just your reputation on the line.
Oh, now we're getting into reputation.
I hate running late. I feel really bad about it. I don't feel comfortable running like 15 minutes late.
Well, I'm fine with that. I'm U-hauling.
It sounds like I U-Haul and then just bitch about it.
Yeah.
So I'll do a U-Haul with complaints.
Got it. Okay. What are you promoting right now?
Listen to my podcast on Spotify, Breaking Down with Ali Kolbert. You're going to come on soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
And your stand-up, no?
And my stand-up. I'm at Ali Kolbert on everything that you can find. If you want to find me, you can find me. Ali Kolbert, Kolbert with a K.
I love it. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
here
for
and willing
having
to
me.
share. We do a toast. Normally we're drinking, but today we had cappuccino.
That was because you wanted me to drink early. Right? You were like,
Boundaries.
it's 10
Don't
a.m.
imagine. I'm
Get
like,
it?
whiskey.
Whiskey. I was like, hey, let's do a coffee.
Do you have any last things to say? Anything to add? A toast? A cheers?
If the ocean were whiskey and I were a duck, I'd swim to the bottom and drink my way up. But the ocean's not whiskey and I'm not a duck. So bartender, fill my glass up.
To that.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Support lesbian content by rating, reviewing, subscribing, and following. This podcast was produced and edited by Matilde Jordan and worked on solely by lesbians. So send this episode to every person you've ever met and spread the gay agenda.
It's happy hour. 2-for-1 scissor sessions. Lucky lesbians.